Hello viewers, you are welcome to my YouTube channel Botany. In this episode, I will be discussing on the topic binomial nomenclature with respect to plant names. Binomial nomenclature is a formal system of naming species using a two-part scientific name. This system was developed by Linnaeus in 18th century, which revolutionized how we classify and communicate about the living organisms. Each species is given a unique two-part name consisting of the genus and the specific epithet. These names are typically derived from the Latin or Latinized versions of the words from other languages, making them universally accessible to the scientists worldwide. The importance of the binomial nomenclature lies in its ability to provide clarity and avoid confusion. Common names for organisms can vary dramatically from region to region and from language to language, making it difficult to know precisely which species is being discussed. Binomial nomenclature overcomes this by assigning a single universally accepted name to each species. This standardization is crucial for effective communication among the scientists, researchers, and conservationists. It also facilitates the information retrieval as scientific literature and databases are indexed using these precise binomial names. In essence, binomial nomenclature provides a stable and unambiguous system for naming life, forming a foundation of the modern taxonomy and our understanding of the biodiversity. The problem with the common names is a key reason why we have scientific nomenclature in the first place. Here are some of the issues. The same plant can have completely different common names in different regions or even different villages within the same region. This makes it incredibly difficult to know which plant is being discussed, especially when communicating with the people from the different areas. Common names are tied to specific languages. Someone speaking English might use one name, while someone speaking Spanish or French would use entirely different name for the same plant. Imagine the situation in multilingual country like India. This creates a huge barrier to the communication, especially in the scientific context where accuracy is essential. Sometimes the same common name might be used for multiple or entirely different plants. This can lead to serious confusion. Common names are often not recognized or understood outside the specific region or language group. This makes it challenging to share information about the plants on a global scale, which is essential for the scientific research, conservation efforts, and international trade. Unlike scientific names, common names are not governed by any rules or regulations. This means that anyone can easily make up a common name, leading to further inconsistency and confusions. Like misidentification can have a serious consequence, especially when dealing with the poisonous plants and medicinal plants. Scientists and researchers and others may have difficulty in understanding each other when discussing specific plants. Research may be unnecessarily repeated because the scientists are not aware that they are studying the same plant under different names. It can be difficult to track and protect the endangered species if they are not consistently identified. This is precisely why we need a standardized system of scientific nomenclature like a binomial system developed by Carl Linnaeus. Scientific names provide a unique and universally recognized name for each species, eliminating the confusion caused by the common names. The solution to the confusion is caused by the common names is the binomial nomenclature, the two-part name. It is the heart of how we scientifically name every living organism. Every species gets a two-part name. The first part is the genus name and the second part is the specific epithet, which together forms a species. The genus is the broader group. The genus name is for the group of closely related species. It is always capitalized. it is treated grammatically as noun. The specific epithet is the unique identifier. The specific epithet is the name of the species, distinguishing it from all other species within the same genus. It is always lowercase. It is often an adjective that describes some characteristics of the species. The genus and specific epithet together make up the full scientific name, also called the binomial. The scientific names are usually derived from the Latin or Latinized versions of the words from other languages. This helps to give the names which are universal, as Latin was historically the language of science. The scientific names are always italicized or underlined if handwritten. The name of the person who first described and named the species is included after the binomial, that is the author citation. For example, Quercus alba L. Here the L stands for the Linnaeus who named the white oak as Quercus alba. Quercus is the generic name and alba is the specific epithet. Let us explore some plant examples of binomial names. Dalbergia latifolia ROXB is the scientific name for the Indian rosewood. Dalbergia, this is the genus name. It honors Niels John Dahlberg, a Swedish botanist. Latifolia is the specific epithet. It is the combination of two Latin words, latus meaning wide or broad and folium meaning the leaf. So latifolia literally translates to wide-leaved or broad-leaved. This name refers to the characteristic broad leaves of this particular Dalbergia species. The ROXB stands for William Roxburgh, a Scottish botanist. He made extensive contributions to the study of Indian plants, who described Dalbergia latifolia. Arachis hypogaea L is the scientific name for the peanut or the groundnut. Arachis is the genus name and it is derived from the Greek word arachis, which was used to refer to a type of legume. Hypogaea is the specific epithet. It is the combination of two Greek words, hypo meaning under and g meaning earth. This refers to the fact that peanut pods develop underground. The abbreviation L stands for Carolus Linnaeus, who originally described and named this plant. Anacardium occidentale L is the scientific name for the cashew tree. Anacardium is the genus name and is derived from the combination of Greek words ana meaning upward or backward and cardia meaning heart. This likely refers to the unusual shape of the cashew apple, the accessory fruit, which can resemble an inverted heart. Occidental is the specific epithet. It is in Latin adjective meaning western. This name reflects the cashew tree origin in the western hemisphere. Michaelia champaka is the scientific name for the champak or champa tree, a beautiful and a fragrant flowering tree. Michaelia is the genus name. It honors Pietro Antonio Micheli, an Italian botanist and mycologist who made significant contributions to the study of the plants and fungi in the 18th century. Champaka is the specific epithet and it is derived from the Sanskrit word champaka, which is the traditional name for the tree and its flowers in India. Helianthus annus L is the commonly called as the sunflower plant. Helianthus is the genus name and is derived from the Greek word helios meaning sun, anthos meaning flower. So the genus name literally means sunflower. Annus is the specific epithet. It is the Latin adjective meaning annual. This refers to the fact that annual, the sunflower is annual plant, meaning it completes its life cycle, that is from seed to seed, in a single year. Then Pisum sativum L refers to the common garden pea. Pisum is the genus name and it is the ancient Latin word for the pea, likely derived from the Latin word piscos. Sativum is the Latin adjective meaning cultivated. that is sown. L stands for the Carl Linnaeus. Tectona grandis LF refers to the teak tree. Tectona is the genus name is derived from the Tamil word tekku, which is the common name for the teak in that language. So the genus name is essentially a slightly modified version of the local name for the tree. Grandis is a Latin adjective meaning grand, large, great, or noble. This epithet refers to the impressive size and stature of the teak tree as well as high quality and value of its timber. The abbreviation LF stands for the Carl Linnaeus the Younger, the son of famous Carl Linnaeus. He formally described and named teak tree. Ficus religiosa L is the scientific name for the sacred fig, also known as the Bodhi tree or people tree. Ficus is the genus name and it is the Latin word for the fig. Religiosa is the specific epithet. It is a Latin adjective meaning religious or sacred. This epithet highlights the religious significance of the tree and it is associated with the Enlightenment and is often planted near temples and other religious sites. Ocimum sanctum L is the scientific name for holy basil, also known as Tulsi, in many parts of India. Ocimum is the genus name and it is derived from the Greek word okimon, which was used to refer to the various aromatic herbs including basil. Sanctum is the specific epithet. It is a Latin adjective meaning holy or sacred. This epithet reflects the plant's revered and stature in religious ceremonies and traditional medicine. Binomial nomenclature is absolutely a vital in biology. Its importance can't be overstated. It provides a single universally recognized name for every species, regardless of language or location. This eliminates the confusion caused by the common names which can vary dramatically from region to region. A scientist in Brazil and a scientist in Japan can be sure they are discussing the same organism when they are use binomial name. Each binomial name is unique to one species. This avoids the ambiguity that arises when the same common name is used for multiple species or when one species has several common names. The scientific literature and databases are indexed using binomial names. This makes it easy to find information about the specific species, no matter what language the researcher speaks. Imagine trying to search for the information on the plant if it had dozens of different common names. Binomial nomenclature facilitates clear and unambiguous communication among the scientists, researchers, and conservationists worldwide. It is a common language of biology. Binomial names are the cornerstones of biological classification. They provide the framework for the organizing and understanding the relationship between the different species. They are essential part of how we catalog and study biodiversity. Accurate identification is essential for all biological research, whether they are studying ecology, genetics, physiology, or any aspect of biology. Researchers need to certain they are working with the correct species. Binomial nomenclature makes it possible. Conservation relies heavily on accurate species identification. Endangered species need to be correctly identified so that the conservation efforts can be targeted effectively. Binomials names are crucial for this. In many cases, laws and regulations related to the agriculture, trade, and environmental protection rely on the accurate identification of the species. Binomial nomenclature provides necessary precision for these purposes. Binomial nomenclature is not just about slapping two words together. It is a structured system with specific rules and conventions to ensure clarity and consistency. The ICN, that is the International Code of Nomenclature, this is the set of rules and recommendations that govern how the plants, including algae and fungi, which are historically considered as the plants, are named. These are the separate codes for the animals ICZN and bacteria ICBN, reflecting the different needs of those fields. The ICN is updated periodically at International Botanical Congress to reflect new scientific knowledge and address any ambiguities. Sometimes the names need to be changed due to new discoveries or revisions in our understanding of the plant relationships. The ICN provides rules for how to deal with these changes in a way to minimize the confusion and maintain stability. The key rules of the conventions are: every species must have a two-part name, that is the genus and specific epithet. Names are usually derived from the Latin or Latinized version of the words from other languages. This helps the names universal. The scientific names are always italicized or underlined if handwritten to indicate their Latin origin. The genus name is always capitalized and specific epithet is always lowercase. Each species must have a unique name that is not used for any other species. The first validly published name for the species is the correct one. This helps to prevent confusion caused by multiple names being used for the same species. Each name is linked to a physical specimen, that is the type, that serves as the permanent reference point for that species. This ensures that everyone is referring to the same entity when using the name. A name must be effectively and validly published in a recognized scientific publication to the considered official. This means it is must be publicly available and accompanied by the description of the species. The name of the person or persons who first validly published the names is often included after the binomial. This gives the credit to the authors to and provide historical context and is called as the author citation. While binomial nomenclature is incredibly useful, it is not without its challenges. Here are some of the limitations and challenges associated with the system. The scientific names can be long, complex, and difficult to pronounce, especially for the non-scientists. Memorizing thousands of binomials names is a challenging even for the experts. Although Latin was historically the language of science, it is not widely spoken today. This can create a barrier for the researchers and the general public who are not familiar with the Latin. As our understanding of evolutionary relationships improves, classification can change. This can lead to a change in the scientific names, which can be confusing, especially if the older literature is consulted. Defining what a species actually is will be a complex and contentious, especially with the organisms that reproduce asexually or hybridize frequently. This can make it difficult to decide where to draw the line between the species and subspecies, leading to the disagreements among the taxonomists. While the ICN provides rules, there are still some degree of subjectivity involved in classifying organisms. Different taxonomies may have different interpretations of the evidence, leading to different classification and therefore different names. In some cases, it can be difficult to obtain the type specimen needed to properly describe and name a new species. This can be a particular problem with rare or endangered species. While scientific names are essential for the formal communication, common names still have a place in everyday language and communication with the public. It is important to be able to bridge the gap between the scientific and the common names. The traditional approach to the plant classification relied heavily on morphology, that is, the physical characteristics. Now, the molecular data is playing an increasingly important role in understanding the plant relationship. Integrating the molecular data with the traditional methods can be a challenging and sometimes leads to revisions in classification of the names. Despite its many disadvantages, binomial nomenclature is not a perfect system. It has their limitations and faces challenges, particularly as our understanding of the plant diversity and evolution deepens. However, it remains the best system we have for providing a clear, consistent, and universally recognized way to name and classify plants. Carl Linnaeus, a Swedish botanist, physician, and zoologist, is rightfully considered the father of modern taxonomy. His groundbreaking work in the 18th century revolutionized the way we classify and name living organisms. Before Linnaeus, biological nomenclature was a chaotic mix of long, descriptive names that varied from author to author, making communication and organization a nightmare. Linnaeus brought order to these chaos by developing a simple and powerful system that is the binomial nomenclature. This two-part naming system using genus and specific epithet provided a clear, concise, and universally understood way to refer to each species. His Systema Naturae, published in several editions, became the cornerstone of biological classification, laying the groundwork for all future taxonomic work. Binomial nomenclature by the Linnaeus also established a hierarchical system of classification, organizing the organism into nested groups based on shared characteristics. This hierarchical structure, from kingdom down to species, provided a framework for understanding the relationship between different organisms. While the specific ranks and groupings have been modified over time to reflect the advances in evolutionary biology, the fundamental principle of the nested hierarchy remains a core concept in the modern taxonomy. Linnaeus' system not only simplified the process of classifying organisms but also provided a powerful tool for understanding the diversity of life on Earth.